Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is part 2 on my videos about applying to law school. So the last video was about all the things you need to do before you apply to law school, all the things you need to be thinking about and considering. And today's video is going to be more about the actual application process. I will say that most of the information that you need to apply for law school and about the process itself is online. So I'm not going to go through everything for you because things like getting transcripts or including your resume are fairly straightforward, and I'm not going to go through all of that with you. Today's video is mostly going to focus on the personal statements because I feel like that is the part that requires a little bit of thinking and creativity, and that's the part that people struggle with when applying to law school. I know I found it probably the most difficult part because that's where you really have to sell yourself. I'm going to be talking mostly about that today, but I will say if you do want the information for applying to law school, this is for Ontario now because I applied to mostly Ontario law schools, so it's going to be different for different law schools. I'm not sure how I applied to law schools outside of Ontario. I think probably they have like a portal that you have to apply into for schools outside of Ontario. But for me, because I mostly focused on Ontario law schools, there's a website, it's ouac.on.ca, and that's where you go, you create your profile on there, and that's where you'll actually put in all of your application documents, and then you apply through there, and it even tells you the deadline. So that's where you're gonna find all the information about the process for Ontario law schools. For other law schools, like I said, you probably just have to go to the law school's website and they'll probably have like a portal or something that you just upload your documents to. And then for other places outside of Canada, unfortunately, I don't know about the actual process. But as I said in my last video, the most important thing that I can tell you is make sure you know the process and all of your dates and all the things that you need. So anyway, I'm not gonna reiterate all of that. So today I'm mostly going to be talking about the personal statements. So let's just get right into it. I'm not sure how it is in other areas of the world, but in Canada, I believe every school requires that you write a personal statement in order to get into law school. So the personal statement is almost like a cover letter, but it's a longer version of a cover letter. I'm not sure if there's a certain length it has to be, I can't remember. Some schools request that you put certain things in your personal statement, so they want to know why you want to go to law school, why you want to go to that law school, where you see yourself in 5 years, or something like that. So some schools will specify and others won't. Make sure for those schools that request certain things that you are including those. And the other advice I would give you for writing your personal statement is law schools and the board or committee, whoever it is that's reading all of these applications, they're going to see so many applications and so many of them are going to say the same things. And that's okay, but be genuine and be yourself when you're writing your personal statement. Make your personal statement a narrative of your story. What makes you you? What makes you unique? And what makes you a really great candidate, different from everybody else that's applying. The people who are reading those can tell when you're faking it, they can tell when you're lying, when you're making stuff up, when you're fluffing it up, they can tell. And they can tell when you're not really super confident in your experiences. If you go online, you can get examples of personal statements, you can get kind of templates. I found when I read those, sometimes they make you feel kind of bad about your experience. Like, I'm not somebody who has, traveled abroad all over the place or built a school in Africa or something like that. I mean, I have kind of, I don't want to say normal, but like more normal experiences. Like, I haven't done any of those crazy things. I went to school and I worked to pay for school, and I did some volunteer work, some extracurriculars, but I didn't do anything crazy. So when you read those personal statements, you're like, wow, I've done nothing, like I don't have anything to talk about. And that's so far from the truth. You have to pick out the things about yourself, the experiences that you've had, and they might not be the most extravagant, but they taught you something. They gave you some skills, you learned from them, and they brought you to where you are now. And use that. You don't have to worry about, knowing 5 different languages or traveling to all these places or doing all these crazy things. Your experience is good enough. So you should talk about your experience in a genuine way, but in a way that shows what you got from it. So it requires a little bit of reflection. It requires you to sit down for a second and say, okay, what have I done? And what What did it do for me? What did it give me? What did it bring me? What did it take away? What have I learned from it? How did I get here? And it's okay that you don't have super crazy experiences, but be genuine. Like, tell your story, something about you that's different. If you can show that you were dedicated and that you worked to pay for school and that you were dedicated to doing well, that's something. That's something that you should be proud of and that you should talk about in your personal statement. Really try and use your own voice, use your own story, and formulate your personal statement as a narrative, including your experiences and your skills and talking about all those things that make you look good, but also make it genuine and make it a story. I feel like that was really a very long-winded way of saying the same thing. I probably said it over and over again, but anyway, that's my advice for the personal statement. And the only other thing I would say about it is, like, you have to write the personal statement yourself, obviously. So it's in your own voice and that you wrote it, but have somebody edit it, because nothing is more valuable when you've done a piece of writing than to have somebody else with a different perspective read it, and they'll probably catch some sentences that don't make sense or some spelling mistakes that you missed. So don't just rely on spell check, have somebody else edit it for you. Do what you will with what I said. You don't have to do any of it, you can do all of it. It's just a suggestion. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get into law school if you do those things, but anyone who is going to be applying to law school at some point in the near future, or if you're thinking about it, I hope that this helps you. I hope that it gives you some kind of idea of what you should be doing or thinking about, and hopefully you get in. So I will see you guys in my next video. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also click the button to get notifications so that you always know when I post. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!